I'm gonna pull up the song. Excuse me. In three, two, one.
It's the Dave Cat Podcast. The Dave Cat Podcast. Oh!
Welcome back to another episode of the Dave Cat Podcast. We are here with the crew, except no Montarius once again. No one knows where Monty. We're putting an APB out for him. We're putting an MIA poster all over the place. I don't know how old you are if you're listening to this, but they used to put pictures on milk cartons back in the day. So we're going to have to go ahead and start getting some milk cartons. Get a hold of Prairie Farms. Everyone get a hold of them. Even get a hold of the old IGA milk. Let them know that we got missing person Montarius Clement. We need him to be here. He's not here. So let's go ahead and find him. But until then, we are joined today by Seth Reed. And Rick is here because Monty just doesn't seem to show up ever. So how you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Living, bro. Good.
Yeah, no, let me say something real quick. So this off season, every single year we're always like, oh, this is a crazy off season. You know, this is always different and, you know, yada, yada. But I haven't seen two franchise quarterbacks with the talent that they have wanting out of organizations, one being really, really bad and one being known for being consistent, you know, as a winner, you know, going to Super Bowl appearances, playoffs every single year. And
never had a losing season since he's been drafted and been their starting quarterback.
It's nuts and bizarre to me that
I know
that something like this would be going on. Like, you have to wonder what's actually going on behind the scenes. What happened? Did Pete Carroll hit on Sierra? Is that what happened? Did Pete Carroll try getting in Sierra and them goodies? You know, is that what he was trying to do? I mean, that's a quote from a song for you younger people listening to this, but like, I'm wondering, so this is your team, so we're going to dive deep into them later on, actually, in the episode. I think they're the last team we talk about. But about just Russell Wilson and this current situation, when you look at it, and you're a fan of this team, are you worried that Russell Wilson will not be on the team next year?
kind of like 50-50 right now. At first, you know, it's like maybe he's just saying this to get a little help, and, you know, maybe kick their butts into gear, you know, to get some help for him in that offensive line or a better offensive coordinator. But when I heard that his agent spoke to Adam Schefter and told him the teams he was interested in, that to me means like it's for real, because his agent's just not going to go talk to the number one NFL reporter in the world and tell him this if it's not serious. And I will say that the Chicago Bears were on his list of teams, and oh my God. I don't know how I feel about Russell Wilson being a Bear, but if you're Ryan Pace, you do it, man. Do whatever you can. Give up Khalil Mack 2 first-round picks. Give up 3 first-round picks and keep Khalil Mack. It doesn't matter. But, dude, when you hear Russell Wilson wants to come play for your team, that's all you are away from being an NFC contender immediately as a quarterback. And Russell Wilson is that guy that can take you to the Super Bowl. He's done it before. He's been to 2. He's won 1. He's lost 1. With that defense, if you sign Russell Wilson, Allen Robinson's going to sign up. They might even get someone else to sign as a free agent. I mean, that team, Ryan Pace needs to do whatever he can to make this happen. All that being said, at the end of the day, I don't know yet, Dave, if I think he'll be there or not. I can't answer that question. Like,
Do you want him there still?
Do I want him there still?
Yeah.
See, man, I'm more of a Russell Wilson fan than an actual Seahawks fan. So, like, man, I don't know, because I think he does. Like, he's never had a losing season, like we said, man. He's doing fine there. And yeah, last year, you know, they got knocked out in the first round, but I don't know, man. It's so hard, Dave. I don't know. I just want to see him succeed. I do want to see him win another Super Bowl. I don't care where it's at, honestly. But I don't think, like, I heard people talking about, let's do a Deshaun Watson for Russell Wilson trade. That's never going to happen, because Russell Wilson has a no trade clause just like Deshaun Watson. He's going to say, no, you're not going to. He's not going to go to the Texans, dude. Come on. Why would he go there when he's worried about having no help where he's at now, you know?
Right. No, and when I'm looking at the situation, there's not many situations other than, maybe even then Dallas, but you're really the defense isn't there still. So like, what are you trying to look for? Like, what is it exactly that you want from a team and an organization? Do you want to be heard? There's a lot of teams that will hear you out. There are a lot of teams that will let you have your input. Now, are they going to be winning organizations like the Jets, like the Browns? They get rid of Baker Mayfield. They'll trade Baker Mayfield some first-round picks and get Russell Wilson into Cleveland. That would put them in a whole nother stratosphere than what they were before with OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt. Can you imagine that? Russell Wilson in Cleveland? If I was Cleveland, I'd be on the phone immediately. Look, hey, we'll give you Baker Mayfield and a first-round pick. Please give us Russell Wilson. We're ready to go to the Super Bowl. And
no, man, if I was Cleveland, I'd give them Baker Mayfield and 2 first-round picks, because what you just said right after that, you're right. They're Super Bowl ready. You throw Russell Wilson on that team, and then they're going to get OBJ to come back, and Russell's going to figure out a way to make OBJ work in that offense with everybody else. So, I guarantee you.
Yes.
He's not Baker Mayfield, bro. He's not going to force the ball to OBJ because OBJ's crying. He's going to walk up to OBJ, hey, shut the hell up. You're going to get the ball when it's your turn. You're going to get the ball when I can get it to you. He's not going to let OBJ, hey, man, give me the ball, and force it and let me look bad like Baker Mayfield did trying to do all that, man. I think he'd be great staying there. But the 2 teams that stood out to me were the Bears and the Saints, man. Either one of those teams, if you get Russell Wilson, whew.
I couldn't believe that. Why Chicago? Yeah. Like, they don't have an offensive line, and they don't have Allen Robinson.
See, that was my thing. Like, why would he say Chicago when he's bitching about the offensive line in Seattle? Because Chicago doesn't have a much better offensive line. I think they have a better Super Bowl-ready team overall than the Seahawks do. But as far as offensively, that would be a step down. Offensive line, talented receivers. Now, I do think Allen Robinson.
Worst running game.
Yeah, but, dude, Montgomery came on strong last year.
And Chris Carson, he's not, chopped liver.
No, Chris Carson's not. He's a very disrespected, undervalued running back in the NFL.
Right. So, I don't understand that at all. The Saints, I get.
Right.
I can get that. Kamara, Thomas, that coaching, the defense is already ferocious. I can get that. If you put Russell Wilson on the Saints, it's over.
And he's not scared to go face Tom Brady 2 times a year in the Buccaneers.
Right.
That don't shake him, man.
Right. And I think they would actually, like they did this year, they would sweep them, and then when they got to the playoffs, then we'll see what happens, what the Saints would do. But that would make them an instant Super Bowl contender again and had a bigger chance of winning the Super Bowl than they had with Drew Brees last year. Russell Wilson is a better quarterback today than Drew Brees has been in the quarterback position in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
So,
Drew Brees is one of the greatest ever, but you're right. The past 3-4 years, it's not even close. Especially last year. Drew Brees looked like an old man. He did. Sucks, but that's just facts.
Yeah, well,
you guys also got to think. I know these players aren't supposed to talk, for collusion purposes, but who knows what Russell Wilson's talked to and who he's talked to about going to the Bears. He might have already talked to Allen Robinson and said, hey, man, if I come, are you rolling with me? We never know, because it is weird that he said the Bears. Absolutely, I agree with you guys. But we don't know all the ins and outs of any situation.
Well, like I said, I think he spoke to his agent, and him and his agent put that out to Adam Schefter for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, Dave, if you got an idea what that reason is, but they definitely did this for a reason.
He wants out of there. He doesn't like Pete Carroll.
You think he's gone?
Not this year. I think he's got one more year, and then he's gone. But you got to think, Pete Carroll's 70 years. Pete Carroll's like 70 years old. How many more years does Pete Carroll have? Maybe he waits it out. In
all honesty, the Raiders would be the best situation for him.
What?
Besides the
God,
Saints.
why? I don't understand this.
I'm not talking for Russell Wilson. I'm talking for the Seahawks. You get David Carr back and at least a first-round pick. So you're not – David Carr's not a horrible quarterback. He's serviceable.
There's no better situation. There's no better team to trade your pissed-off quarterback to than it is for the New York Jets. Second pick in the draft with Sam Darnold.
But he didn't mention the Jets.
the Dolphins and Jets were mentioned at first, and then for some reason, when they redid the list, they got taken off.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and
obviously,
I didn't see
he
the
could go
Bears
to
on the list the first time.
right, and that's what I'm saying. So who knows who he's talked to? You know
He
what I
wants
mean?
to be in New York because Sierra wants to be in either LA or New York because
Yeah,
it'll help her, promotion, and it'll help him even become bigger when it comes to advertising and getting sponsors.
Well, you know what I don't get about all this? So I listen to Russell Wilson's podcast he does during the season. He just started doing it this year, and it was like one of the weeks he had Mark Cuban on, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and sitting there discussing with Mark Cuban about, oh yeah, I'd love to own the Seahawks one day, and I want DK Metcalf. I want me and DK Metcalf to be Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, and I want to make him great, and I want to make him the best receiver in the game. And this was just like 2 months ago. And yeah, your season ended shitty, but guess what, Russ? A lot of that was on you. Your defense bailed your ass out the last month of the season, and you played like shit. Now, yeah, you weren't getting protected, and I'll put a lot of that on Schottenheimer. I do not like the way he called our offense at all. I do not. I don't care what you say, Dave. He called a shitty game for those guys. Like I said, a lot of the bad play by Russ, all that. I mean, it all came together. Maybe he's just pissed off, dude. Like I said, unless he's going to, like I said, the Saints, the Bears, or one of these elite teams, you're not going to get a much better situation than you're already in right now.
So if he goes to Chicago, they have to get rid of Mac because this is how I see it. If I was Russell Wilson, I would look at Chicago and say, look, I could accept a trade to you guys, but you have to do two things first. Sign Joe Thuney and you sign Allen Robinson. That is a start for what they can build in Chicago. Unfortunately, it's going to cost Mac. You're going to have to get rid of Mac.
That's fine, dude. That's fine.
Yeah, and I think everyone else would be okay with that. But
if you give up Khalil Mack and two first-round picks to get Russell Wilson, okay, this is what you just got. You got a franchise quarterback right in the door. And what else you just got is you've never had a 4,000-yard passer in the history of your freaking team.
That'll change immediately.
You have Russell Wilson, that's over with. That's
that's over.
4,000. I mean, he can if he shows up to work every day, he's getting 4,000.
If he doesn't throw for 4,000 yards, then there's a curse in Chicago.
Right, and I will say this. If that would happen, who I think it would benefit, honestly, more than anybody, or not heard one person talk about this yet, is Cole Kmet. The way Russell Wilson uses his tight ends, dude, he loves them. He could make that kid really good. He could make him a top 5 tight end, dude.
Yeah, but Hunter Henry may want to go to Chicago for a little league minimum if Russell Wilson goes there. And they have Allen Robinson. And they have Joe Thuney.
And that's what I'm saying. We have no idea who's talked about what between those guys because I don't care what they say. I know it's a rule.
Yeah,
but those guys talk. I mean, come on.
Bears have to sign Joe Thuney, number one. If they can get that guard out of New England, which is going to be highly sought after, known as one of the best guards in the league, that'll help solidify the Bears line and help bring in free agents, possibly a quarterback, because then they'll know the offensive line's better and they have the defense to back it up.
Okay, so they sign him. They sign Allen Robinson. They trade for Russell Wilson. Who would you take in the NFC Championship game, the Bucs or the Bears?
Bears.
Yep.
Wouldn't be close.
Even without Khalil Mack.
Wouldn't he?
Even without Khalil Mack.
I mean, think about it. The Bears.
You go get J.J. Watt on the low. You go get J.J. Watt on the low. Be like, hey, J.J., this is Russ, man. I'm going to Chicago. You want to do this shit? Let's go. Come on, man. Let's do this.
Yeah, because Montgomery would be better, and then Tariq Cohen would be back, so they have a swing running back, a third down back. I
think Montgomery looked good last year at the end of the year. He really turned it on the last month and a half of the season, Dave. I really feel that way. I think he's a lot of the reason Trubisky played somewhat better down the stretch was because of how good Montgomery was running the ball.
Yeah, let's just get rid of Trubisky.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Listen, they need to do anything they can if they have a chance to get Russell Wilson. They need to be on the phone right now, 24 hours a day. Okay, what's he going to take, man? What's he going to take? Ryan Pace could save his career by doing not his job, freaking career, dude. He could save it by doing this.
Right. I
mean, if you do this, it's all forgotten. Oh yeah, we passed up Deshaun Watson. That's forgotten, dude. If you bring in Russell Wilson and you guys go win the Super Bowl, it's done and over with, dude. You forget about that.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. I think that something's going to happen sooner than later. I think you got free agency coming up in 2 weeks, and then you got the draft coming up in a month and a half. So sooner or later, in the next 6 weeks, we're going to know what happens with Russell Wilson. Because if he's staying, then, it's whatever. But if he's going to get traded, it's going to get sometime before the draft, especially when it gets closer to the draft. You get the number 2 pick with the Jets, the number 3 pick with Miami. Those are 2 spots that I think if I was Seattle, I would only want to trade him to those 2 spots. 1, you're in the AFC, not the NFC. 2, I get the 2nd or the 3rd pick in the draft to guarantee me a quarterback. Guarantee me a quarterback. Now, which quarterback? Zach Wilson or Justin Fields? If they're okay with both of them, I think they can trade to either of them. If they only want one or the other, or if there's a quarterback that stands above all and they even like them above Trevor Lawrence, then they have to trade to the Jets. That's where the Jets' number 2 pick come into play. Because if the Houston Texans do end up saying they want to trade Watson, or Seattle says they do want to trade Russell Wilson, both of them have no trade clause. But if the Jets in free agency, they're the ones that sign Tooney. They're the ones that sign Allen Robinson. They're the ones that sign, Juju Smith-Schuster or whatever. And they look like they're on the up and up on offense. Then maybe Watson and Russell Wilson will look at that and say, okay, I can build my brand in New York. They already have an offense going. That defense is decent. It's already getting younger. It's better. That Quinnen Williams is coming into a form as one of the top defensive linemen in the league. And that's just a fact. There's a lot of good pieces on that defense if we can retain Marcus May as well. And CJ Mosley's coming back. But we have to, just like the Bears, solidify the O-line, get that receiving corpse up, and hope our young tight end, Chris Herndon, Cole Kmet, can produce. And we need those quarterbacks to be in that position to help those young receivers, Anthony Miller, Denzel Mims, produce on that offense. Offensively, the Jets and the Bears are the same exact situation, aside from the Bears have a better running back situation at this time, which could change easily and drastically with one signing or whatever with this free agency or the draft. So when I look at Russell Wilson and what he should do, he needs to look at landscape and say where he wants to go to be happy, what team's going to give him that input, and the good chance to win in the market that he wants to be in. Because Sierra's going to have a lot of say-so, and if he only wants to go to Chicago, L.A., or New York, that's going to put the Bears and Jets in the same situation. Bears' defense is better. Jets have more draft capital. So we're going to check out what's going on in the future, but it's something could happen sooner than later. Sources say it could happen within the week. We'll see. But getting into the divisional, and yes, I do own rights to that music. I do own rights because that's my song. We're going to move into the AFC West. We're doing the West today, AFC, NFC today. We start off with this moment, the AFC, with Denver Broncos. They ended up going 5-11 last year. Drew Lock played most, if not all, the season. When I look at the Denver Broncos situation, they have a great young wide receiver core that could be attractive for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. Too bad they don't have much of draft capital or much cap space with they're cutting Von Miller soon or getting rid of him. They're getting rid of other players to get down on the cap because they overpaid them. But their offensive line could use a little retooling, pretty good, but they're still releasing players and trying to find a way to get the cap to either make a run at Deshaun Watson or stay with Drew Lock. Now, the sources are saying out of the Denver camp is that's what they're doing. It's either one or the other, Watson or it's Lock. No other way around it. So when I'm looking at Denver, Drew Lock, he ended up passing for 2,900 yards. He had 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He was sacked 19 times in 13 games, which is pretty good. You're averaging a little over a sack a game, not even 2 per game.
Yeah, I picked that all day.
Right. He had a passer rating of 75.4. But what looked bad for him was when Jeff Driscoll came in, he almost looked the same. Now, his yards were lower per game than Drew Lock, but the touchdown interception ratio is basically the same. He was more mobile than Drew Lock. Now, he got sacked more than Drew Lock, but that's because he was more mobile and was running around more. So when you have quarterbacks like Jeff Driscoll kind of producing almost the same result as you, that's when you need to look at yourself in the mirror and think, okay, I got to improve, and I got to improve quick, because there's other options out there. Even a Ryan Fitzpatrick could come in and light it up in Denver with these wide receivers that they have on their team. I want a Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Noah Fant, KJ Hamler, and a Deshaun Hamilton All of them.
I mean, Jerry Jeudy to me could have been better this year. I mean, he had
Drew
113
Lock.
targets. He had 113 targets, 52 receptions, like 3 touchdowns. He did have like a 92-yarder, but just he wasn't like, I don't know. I just expected more of a game changer. Like, I don't know, 113 targets, 52 receptions. That needs to go up. That's a little under 50%. I mean, yes, he was a rookie. I just think that I just expected more from him. You know, coming out of Alabama, being all the highly touted wide receiver and all this and all that. Supposed to be the one of the draft class. To me, I don't know. I thought Justin Jefferson was way better than last year, my personal opinion.
Well, he was, but look at the quarterback.
Yeah, Drew Lock. Yeah. Drew Lock thrown too. I mean, I give you that, definitely.
Kirk Cousins isn't Aaron Rodgers, but come on now.
And that's a run-first team, too. Big Fangio, we know how he is.
And they have a lot of weapons. I mean, they have a lot of weapons on that Denver offense. So he kind of got a little bit, with Tim Patrick producing the same amount of receptions on 44 less targets.
Right.
He had 90 or 110 less yards, but he had 3 more touchdowns. He doubled his touchdowns. Same amount of big plays on 40 less catches. That just goes to show that Tim Patrick and Jerry Jeudy aren't far apart, even though when you look on the tape, Jerry Jeudy runs a cleaner route, is quicker in and out of his cuts. He can jump higher for the contest ball. But it's more or less that Drew Lock doesn't use him as a star receiver. He uses them as a system receiver, like New England would use a Julian Edelman or a Wes Welker, where they're getting their stats, but it's based on where they are in the system, not on their talents. And I think that they need to change that and make Jerry Jeudy more like a Randy Moss-esque type of wide receiver. Let him go out there and try the jump ball over double coverage. See what this young man has. So that way, if you go into rebuild mode again and you just need a quarterback to start it all off, you have that. You know that you have that, and that's attractive to a young quarterback when you know you have a solid tight end in Noah Fant, and you have that number 1 receiver in Jerry Jeudy, who could be potentially a star wide receiver. But you look at the tape, he has the potential there. He has a skill set that you want in a number 1 wide receiver. Now, why don't they let him turn it loose? Why does Tim Patrick have relative the same stats with 1 less game played and 40 less targets? That's not looking good for Jerry Jeudy, but like I said, I honestly believe it's not more or less on him. I think it's more or less the system and the quarterback play of how he plays. It's more as a system quarterback, not a rip it and let it go like any other system with the star wide receiver. How do you see it?
Well,
Go ahead.
I think the receivers, like you said, are obviously the strength of the Denver Broncos. But they also have a serviceable running backs. I mean, they're kind of like a two-headed monster, Gordon, and the other. I'm drawing a blank on the other.
Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, Philip Lindsay. I mean, they're not great running backs, but they're serviceable. So I think it all comes down to Drew Lock and his reading the defense. I mean, he's got a strong arm. I think he needs to improve in the pocket and better reads. And I think that's going to help Jeudy a ton with more experience after he had this year and those two working together. I think he could be a breakout receiver next year.
Yeah, he wasn't bad this year at all for a rookie. Don't get me wrong. I just he was supposed to be, like Randy Moss-esque his rookie year. That's what I've been really hearing. You know what I mean? And he wasn't that, is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying he doesn't have that potential by any means. He's shown flashes of it.
We do have to say that one of those games that Jerry Jeudy played in was the Kendall Hinton game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
One completion for 1 for 9 for 13 yards to Noah Fant.
See, that's what I don't like about the NFL, because if that would have been like the Chiefs or the Bucks, they would have been like, "Oh, well, we'll let you guys postpone this week and get your guys back." But
I honestly don't think so.
Don't think so?
No, because the NFL didn't like doing that. They hated it.
They were pretty strict, man. They were saying, "Hey, if you don't follow protocol, this is what's going to happen." I mean, I think they did a great job, actually.
You guys know the Seahawks were the only team in the NFL that made it the whole year without one COVID case at all.
Yeah,
like staff.
I did know that. I heard that.
The Jets didn't get one until I only had like 1 or 2 or something like that. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's you know what that is? That's an organization ran the right way.
Yeah, no, the Jets had 0 starting players with COVID, and they only had like 1 the whole season or something.
Yeah, and the thing is, you got to remember, they lost a lot of close games last year. Denver's not too far away from being 9-7, 10-6.
Yeah, no way, dude. Not in that division.
Seattle's down next year. I'm telling you, Seattle's going to be down next year.
We're not talking about Seattle.
I know San Diego's a team to watch out for in that division. I'm going to say that right now.
San Diego's better than them. The Chiefs are obviously better than them. And the Raiders are right there with them. I think that's by far the worst team in that division. I think they have a lot to do before they get better.
Yeah, we'll have a prediction show like later on in summer after everything is in the mold and camp started. But I honestly believe that they're going to finish in the bottom as well. I don't see much light for them unless they can pull off a trade and get Watson or Russell Wilson because they already have that wide receiver set. Their defense isn't nearly as good as what it used to be. They're actually trending downwards still, releasing all these players and Von Miller to come. So it's looking like they're almost to rebuild mode again. And I think that they're one more losing season away from accepting that and then starting that again. So Denver doesn't have a lot of hope. And
Sorry.
No, yeah.
My boy, I know you're a Broncos fan, buddy. You should have been on here tonight, man.
We'll get him on the next one.
I had a question, though. I mean, with Von Miller, would you want him on the Jets? Or is he done?
I'll take him for a league minimum.
He's not done, but he's not a third down linebacker. He's, like I said, like with J.J. Watt, he's a two down,
right,
long, like third and long, second and long, like down rusher. That's all he is now. But he's definitely still got something in the tank. Like Dave said, I'd give him a league minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
That's a low risk, high reward right there. He can get double digit sacks. He can get double digit sacks for you. You get him for the right price.
And anyone at the right price is, worth looking at. But yeah, we'll see how that one plays out because Denver, they are usually somewhere always in the middle of the pack, and now they're like down towards the lower end of the pack. So it'll be interesting to see how they can turn that around. If John Elway stepping down kind of giving himself a promotion, it's kind of weird how he did that, but we'll see how he does that. But going on to the Oakland Raiders in that division, they went 8-8 and almost made the playoffs, but lost again towards the end of the season. And John Gruden, to me, is just a 500 coach. Looking at his whole career, he's always been mostly 500. And he had a couple, spark years with the Raiders and the Buccaneers. A lot of that was how those teams were built and drafted. And if he's expecting to do that again, he's not off to a good start for the most part. I mean, Cleveland Farrell and a lot of the other players that he drafted, reaching in the draft, thinking that he's a genius, really, he just looked stupid. They only won 2 of their last 7 games, and they had a great chance to get into the postseason, and they really just messed that up, dropping games to the Chiefs, the Falcons, only beating the Jets because Greg Williams called a prevent defense or a man-to-man defense on a Hail Mary play, rush 8 or something like that, a 0 blitz on a Hail Mary. So, and even then, I think the defense. He got fired the next day, by the way. Yeah, he got fired the next day. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they are not a good football team, and if they expect Derek Carr to change that, they're delirious. And I think John Gruden will be fired at some point in the next couple of years if this does not improve. I think he has 2 more years. I think that they're going to try to make that as... Oh, Mario's finally calling me, trying to get him on about the San Francisco 49ers. But no, when I'm looking at the Raiders and John Gruden, he has to really improve that team because he's got a 10-year deal. They're paying him a lot of money, and he hasn't produced anything. Derek Carr is not the answer, not in my opinion. When you guys look at the Raiders, trading Khalil Mack for all his picks, they haven't done nothing. So what are you thinking?
I think the Bears still won that trade is what I'm thinking.
I mean, I agree. I still say if Parkey doesn't miss that field goal, the Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know if they're going to win, but I think they were on their way, dude. That team was, whew.
Yeah, I agree. But as far as the Raiders overall, I mean, the only bright spots, they have good young receivers. The running backs probably in the top 5, I would say. But their defense
Jacob
is still very, very
and they got a very
concerning.
good. Don't forget about their tight end, bro. Waller's a beast too.
He might
Darren
be
Waller is the
best
second best tight end
football.
in the league right now.
No, he's not, dude. He's not better than Kittles. You're fucking crazy.
I don't know,
He's
dude.
not better than George Kittles, dude. Okay, Monty, where the fuck are you, man?
I'm
I think he's better. I think he's better than Travis Kelce, and I think Kittle's number 1.
Yeah, I think he's in the top 3 for sure. I mean,
that's not even.
He's got wide receiver speed, and he's what 6'6", 6'7". I mean,
he's a big
monster.
boy.
The only thing I'd like to see out of him is a little more consistency, because he had
you're right.
A monster game. Like, what was it, like 3?
He had 107 receptions.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, listen. I'm not saying this is purely fantasy wise. Because there'd be some weeks where he had like 40-point games, and next week he'd get you like 7, 8.
Yeah,
I know NFL tight end, he's hands down one of the best, dude. But I'm saying he has monster games, and there'll be a week where he doesn't do anything. Like, literally.
Yeah, but is it his fault or is it David Carr's fault?
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, now, talking football-wise, I don't know how good a blocker he is. I couldn't tell you that. I don't think he's a good blocker. Like, Kittle's a blocker, but Kelce's not really a blocker either, so.
Kelce's getting up there in age, too.
Yeah, he's 33.
Yeah, that's why I think Waller's going to pass him up this year.
Gronkowski are the same age.
Yeah. So, I think he's definitely the number 2 tight end going into next year.
Yep, and you'll see.
So they have talent in spots, but their defense, I mean, I couldn't name one defensive player for them. I mean, it's just a average defense at best.
So are the Raiders a playoff team? Do you believe they make enough off-season moves?
No. Nope.
How many more years for Gruden?
This and next.
Yeah, I got 2 more years.
Yeah, like I said, because I think Los Angeles is going to be the surprise team in that division this year.
That's not a surprise at all, dude. Like,
Justin Herbert's already a top 10 quarterback.
The coach was horrible.
He's been horrible. How many close games have they lost since he's been
tons.
Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that's what I agree. And the Raiders are also trending down, just like Denver, and I don't think that's going to get fixed. I think Gruden's going to get himself fired before he gets better. So there's no hope at this time for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, so quick question then. So Russell Wilson mentioned him as one of his teams. Say they did acquire Russell Wilson. Does that change your thinking process?
No, yes, because it's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so, and like I said, the only thing they could do is offer, obviously, Carr and 2 first-round picks. So
I don't think him going to Las Vegas puts him in a better situation to win than he would be already in Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's it's Russell Wilson. It's going to put any team in a better situation that he goes to. It just depends on, what they would do with other moves. Because they're still weak defensively. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
So if he wanted that, then that's more or less and he just doesn't want to play for Pete Carroll and he wants to play for John Gruden.
Right, which I don't see that, but I guess that's what it is.
If he plays for Las Vegas, that's got to be the reason.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
So
I mean, they do have a couple good wide receivers, but like I said, we all agree that they're probably not going to be a playoff team
without Russell.
If they got Russell, they'd be right there.
Without Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson cures all. Speaking of the anti-Russell Wilsons, we're going to Los Angeles Chargers where they have a pocket passer quarterback that doesn't move around as much as Russell Wilson, but moves around some. Don't get me wrong. He's not immobile. He's just not Russell Wilson. But Justin Herbert's already a top star quarterback. Now, he's not elite yet, but he's getting there.
I tell you, that guy was the biggest surprise of the draft for me by far.
No, he wasn't. And I'll tell you why he wasn't to me a surprise. Because until Burrow had his amazing senior season at LSU and lit the league on fire. But going into that season, everybody was saying that Herbert was going to be the number one quarterback the next year coming into the
Right.
draft. And
Right.
he was. And I'd heard that for a couple of years. Not as much as like a Trevor Lawrence say,
Okay.
but enough
still,
to enough to know that.
Seth, that doesn't mean you're going to perform just because you're going to be a number one pick. Look at Peyton Manning his first year. He was horrible.
Yeah, but that's not what
No,
I'm saying.
there's no but. He was horrible.
The league's completely different now than when Peyton Manning came in the league. Look how many rookie quarterbacks come in the league right away and are good. I mean, can you name Kyler Murray? I mean, all these guys come in and they do good right away. This ain't the same league when Peyton Manning was in it, dude. The defense, the rules are different. You can't press the receivers. Completely different game, dude.
No, you're right.
Completely different
You're
game.
absolutely right there. But I think Herbert's been the best quarterback to have the best rookie year in the last 10 years, probably. I mean, look at his numbers, man. I mean, they were amazing.
Yeah, he had 31 touchdowns, 10 receptions, 4,300 yards.
Yeah, I mean, and yes, he has good receivers. That always helps.
Losing one of them, Hunter Henry, unless they can re-sign him.
What I like about him too is he's big, so he can take the hits when he does get hit.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah, they actually are trending up, and I think they could overcome the Kansas City Chiefs if they get in a cap hell situation.
I think so. They still have Bosa, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean their defense is
both the Bosas are coming back next year.
Right.
Coming back nasty.
Right. Yeah, the Chargers are a good team. They got a lot of talent on that team. They already got the quarterback in place. They got their wide receivers in place. They got a good running back. They just need that true
they got
in
Eckler,
between the tackles running back. So if they can get Aaron Jones.
Oh, dude, that would be sweet.
And if their defense can stay healthy and stop getting hurt, like Derwin James.
And don't they have Jammer too?
Quentin Jammer. I mean, they used to at one time. I know they did back in the day, but they have a team.
Yeah,
they just have to stay healthy, and they have to stay right, and they could do a lot of good things in that division and in the playoffs. That's a quarterback that, unfortunately, I'm like as worried as Patrick Mahomes, like seeing that quarterback in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and he performed every game. He performed big. I mean,
you know what really impressed me the most?
Sunday Night Football or who he was playing against, he didn't care, man. He went out there and played the game.
That's what I was just about to say. After his first start, I remember we did the podcast the next week, and me and Dave and Monty were talking about the way his first start came was when that stupid trainer punctured Tyrod
Taylor's
you don't even game plan. You don't even game plan.
Like 30 minutes, 10 minutes before the game starts, he goes, "Hey, kid, by the way, you're starting today, and you're going against Patrick Mahomes in the defending team."
Right, I watched that game.
And he went toe to toe with him. Me and Dave talked about that earlier in the year.
I mean, just to click that, that mentality on that. Hey, I'm going in the game, an NFL game is starting, and just handle it with no problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that like I said, the Los Angeles Chargers, especially with those yellow pants, looking good. They look like they have a bright future. I like it. I like that uniform. I like it. I like with the yellow pants.
Powder blue. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good uniform. I kind of wish I was a Chargers fan, but I'm not. So with them going forward, it looks really bright. And depending on how their schedule lays out, it's already set with the teams that they're playing against and where, but they don't have to win. So that all depends on when they're playing these teams, when they're playing Kansas City.
They'll get a last place schedule too, right?
They were third place.
Oh, okay, third place. Okay.
So they'll still play a lot of bad teams.
Right.
Yeah. So going from Los Angeles to Kansas City, the defending AFC champions, lost in the Super Bowl to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 31-9. They have a lot of players that are making a lot of money with the cap, losing about $18 million. Patrick Mahomes' salary is going in up and up every single year. They may not have to do too much this year, but going forward after this year, they're really going to have to retool their roster. And I think that's going to affect how they go going forward, unless they can continue drafting well. If they can continue drafting well, which is kind of rare, like to be that consistent over and over again, then there shouldn't be anything wrong. Then they should just go on as normal. But if they do start slipping when it comes to drafts, then that's when I feel like it's going to be the end for Patrick Mahomes because he's going to be commanding $40+ million every single year, and he's not going to have anyone to throw to. Tyreek Hill, speed is his key. The first thing to go with wide receivers is their speed. So after that, what is he going to do?
He's almost like a running back in that sense that, 3-4 years.
He was a running back. That's how he got drafted.
So Mario?
Yeah.
Mario hopped in.
Well, that's cool. But yeah, so Tyreek Hill did start off as a running back.
I'm with you though, Dave. You heard me saying after the Super Bowl, the Chiefs were stupid to pay that man $500 million. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Nobody's worth that much money. And if they don't win the Super Bowl next year, Patrick Mahomes might not win another ring the rest of his career.
Well, let's not
that's exactly how I feel, dude. He's not God, people. He's not.
Let's not forget.
He's in a damn good quarterback in a damn good system with great players around him, dude. That's what he is.
Right.
He's not the best talent-wise. He does not have the most talent as far as any NFL quarterback on the field. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You guys can add me. Set3620 Twitter. Let's talk about it.
He said at me on Twitter. Set620 at Twitter.
Yep. You heard it. Y'all can at me. Let's talk
Mario, are you in here? Mario, do I hear? Is that you in here? Can you hear me? No? We're talking about Travis Kelce and George Kittle and Darren Waller. So whenever you can get in here, and we need to ask you a question about George Kittle versus Travis Kelce. Mario,
What?
Welcome to the Data Cat Podcast. I do have a question, though, about George Kittle versus Travis Kelce versus Darren Waller. All over 1,000 yards, all over 100 receptions. They're all stars. They're all great tight ends. Do you think Darren Waller...
None of them are on George Kittle's level.
Stop. Okay, just stop for a second. Let's just pretend.
Facts, bro.
I'm not stopping.
Well, then who's number 2? Travis Kelce going into next year at 32, 33 years of age, or is it Darren Waller?
You got to counter in that Travis Kelce has someone like Tyreek Hill, and he has Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball.
I mean, he's a good tight end.
Jimmy Garoppolo could barely throw 3,000 yards a season. And how the hell is George Kittle getting these numbers? He's getting them from backup, second string, and third string quarterbacks.
Beathard.
Waller's getting them from Carr.
Not only has he literally fucking had, he had 4 seasons now. So his first 3 seasons, he led the league in yards, fastest to ever do it, most catches. He has all the records.
Dude, he's a beast.
Fucking Nick Mullins.
Dude, he's a beast.
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard.
No one's on George
CJ Beathard. That's why he's got 1,000-yard seasons every year. Not because fucking Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mario. Not only that, the man can run block.
Oh, yeah, he's the best run blocker.
Way better than Travis Kelce or Darren Waller.
Travis Kelce is good, but like I said, if you put George Kittle on the Chiefs,
that's a good transition into San Francisco because we're talking about San Francisco now. So we're talking about the George Kittle. That's why I'm transitioning into this because we're going from the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. So
T.Y. Hilton.
Everyone knows that the Chiefs are good, but now we're transferring from the Chiefs into the 49ers. The Chiefs cap situation is going to be crazy, so we're going to see how that goes. But heading into the NFC and the NFC West, the 49ers did finish 6-10 last year. Jimmy Garoppolo did get injured. They had to go back to the backups. It seems like these two backups. I feel like CJ Beathard and Nick Mullins have been quarterback for the 49ers for like 5 years. Like they've just always played at least 3 games each for the last 5 years. Like how many times have these guys had to come in and save the day because
every year we've had Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
Well,
look, if it wasn't for Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers would have won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I don't give a shit what anybody says. He missed the throw, dude, to win the game. He did.
Yeah, he went 3-11 for 36 yards.
Dude, yeah.
In the whole fourth quarter,
what wasn't it one game? Was it him that it had like 12 or 14 pass attempts in one of their playoff wins?
No,
that was in 2 games.
Mariota.
That was in the 2 playoff games. That was combined.
Tannehill.
He only threw 7 passes the first playoff game we won.
That's what I'm talking about.
In the next the next game, he threw like 7 more.
And you know why?
That's when Raheem Moser had like 3 rushing touchdowns.
And you know why? You trust him. You have George Kittle, the best tight end in football. You have really, really good young receivers, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk showed
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk
Great-
was this is his
Great
first
things
year.
last
and I
year
think
as
he
a
did.
rookie. I love
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk as a receiver. He's going to be legit. You give them a quarterback, look
Well,
the
thing
fuck
is,
out.
last year, San Francisco had so many injuries, and they were still in every game. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna say
every game they were-
pull up the statistics and look how many games we lost with our third string quarterback by 3 points. Just
That's what
say
I'm saying.
3.
You got,
We
Without
lost.
Bosa,
We lost to
Without
Seattle like
Kittle.
both games by 3
without
points.
Mostert in a lot of those games.
without receivers half the time too. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had
They had
fifth
so many
string wide
injuries.
receivers when the season started. We had nobody to start the game. We had
Ayuk-
Kendrick Bourne, Jalen Hurd tore his ACL, Brandon Ayuk had COVID, George Kittle got injured the first game.
I-
Who
I'm
else
coming
was
out
hurt?
saying right now,
Bro.
San Francisco wins that division next year.
Oh, what's your
Kittle
name?
didn't get it first game, bro.
Who else was it?
Now,
Richard
let me
Jefferson
ask you this
Jr., I
real
think?
quick about San Francisco. Would you want to trade Bosa, Jimmy Garoppolo, and a first-round pick for Deshaun Watson?
In a
No, not happening.
Deshaun Watson with Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, all that stable of running backs would be an instant Super Bowl contender. Instant.
Yeah, but
this
I
year,
think Bosa brings more to the team than just being on the field and playing. You know,
No,
I
but
think
you
he's
got
like a locker room leadership
You
guy.
agree that you're that one quarterback away. So why don't you just go all out?
Oh, we've always
get the
been a-
quarterback.
we've always
Get the
been a
quarterback.
quarterback, yeah.
Why are you trying to be like Chicago?
Young
Why do you want to be the Bears out west? How about you do something about it and go get Deshaun Watson, give up the pass rush, give up a first round pick, give up Garoppolo, get
Those are
Deshaun
good picks,
Watson,
though, that we're
and
giving up.
become an instant Super Bowl contender in that. That
Deshaun
probably
Watson,
would
to
be.
me, does not seem elite. I don't think he's elite.
Why wouldn't you say he's
Wait.
elite?
I don't
Who's not
know. I just don't think he's elite.
He
Deshaun
took them up
Watson-
24-10 against the
you're
Chiefs in the playoffs.
No.
That's good for him, but
He-
I don't think
Talent-wise,
he's
one
worth
of the
these
best
picks.
quarterbacks in the
I-
league. What are you talking about?
I think ever since Matt Stafford got that fucking crazy trade, it fucked the whole NFL up. And now motherfuckers are like gonna be getting stupid fucking shit. Like stupid shit.
It was
Just
more.
because
It was
that
more
Matthew
to that
Stafford
than
deal.
Yeah, the
More
Goff's
Stafford.
contract, they had to unload that, so they had to sweeten it
Yeah,
more.
Exactly.
So they actually had to give
Yeah.
more to Detroit
I don't know.
to
I
actually
just see
take.
Deshaun Watson. I see him coming to our team, and I see him having a game like Lamar Jackson.
Oh my
When the
God!
shit
Don't
counts,
ever.
Get out of
I
here.
just
Don't
could see it
ever compare
already.
Lamar Jackson to Deshaun Watson again, bro.
I'm just saying, I could see it happening.
Okay.
Can you not? Can you not see him coming to the 49ers and literally him running the ball more than throwing the ball?
Dude,
Hell no.
He
With
doesn't
those
even run.
receivers and George Kittle, you're crazy, dude.
Oh, he would fit perfect. He would run perfectly in our scheme. Are you kidding me?
Dude, Deshaun
Like, he
Watson's
can run.
probably a top 2 quarterback in the NFL. Playing
Definitely top 3.
Nah, not to build. Not if I'm building my team around.
He's
I'm not going to build
24
my team
years
around.
old.
He is
man.
24 years
I
old.
know.
His cap's down.
I
You
know.
don't have to pay him a whole lot of money compared to the
I'm not.
elite
No, don't get
quarterbacks.
me wrong. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not. I'm just
So
saying
you wouldn't
he's
trade
not elite.
Bosa and you wouldn't trade
I don't
Garoppolo
see him
and a
coming to
first round
the
pick.
49ers
Hold
and
on. He's
being
not
like,
elite.
oh, we're instantly going to the Super Bowl.
He's
No,
not
I don't.
elite.
I just don't see it.
He's not.
I don't
elite.
think he's elite. I don't think he's elite.
Okay, so hold on. Let me ask you this. So this isn't elite. 4,800 yards, which led the league. 33 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That's not elite. So what's
And
elite?
how many
then?
rushing touchdowns?
What's elite?
How many rushing touchdowns?
I don't even care about rushing. What's elite?
Well, he did have a good season this year. He
What's
did have a good
elite?
season.
5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns because 4,833 to
Who?
7.
Name-
Yeah,
I would
who,
say-
who's elite to you?
And
Who's
name
elite
his
to me?
receivers, dude.
Yeah.
Aaron
I mean-
Rodgers. I'd say Patrick. Well, I don't even know if I would say Patrick Mahomes is elite.
Oh my gosh.
I would say borderline Russell Wilson. I'm not sure, but he's pretty elite.
Oh my gosh. You just said Patrick
I mean,
Mahomes
obviously-
isn't elite.
I'm not sure. He's got a lot of fucking tools, dude. Let's not play this fucking game. He won because of defense.
Tell him.
He has a ring.
Tell him, Mario.
Defense.
Let's not play this fucking game, dude. He's got fucking the fastest wide receivers. His fucking backup wide
Mario,
receivers
You're right.
are real
You're
good.
right. You're right.
You got
Everybody wants to
arguably
back
the best tight end. He's got a good running game, good offensive line, and his defense comes out to play.
And
Like-
a Hall of Fame coach, a first
Yeah.
ballot Hall of Fame
Yeah.
coach.
So I'm not
First
sure.
ballot Hall of Fame.
It's like the borderline with him and Tom Brady thing. It's like, is it Andy Reid or is it Tom? I mean, or is it Patrick Mahomes?
No,
We don't
listen,
really
Mario,
know yet. Like,
I said this from the start. Right before you jumped on, we were talking about Patrick Mahomes. He's been blessed with the team he got drafted.
he
to,
fell into the perfect
great
fucking
system
situation
with amazing players around him, dude, and
Okay.
a great
Oh, yeah.
organization. If you put Patrick Mahomes on a regular team, you
and they
put
had the
Patrick
money.
Mahomes on the
They had the
Seahawks.
money to keep him happy.
If you put Patrick Mahomes on the Seahawks, the Seahawks
No,
might
yeah.
be a 9-win team.
No.
Might be.
Might be, yeah. Or think about how much Russell Wilson gets sacked now. Now remember, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes. He can't
Right.
scramble like Russell Wilson. He's gonna get
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is gonna get sacked a lot on the Seattle Seahawks. Like a lot. But
I don't
Dude,
know.
I would
put
say
him
Tom
on-
Brady's
Okay,
the
you
lead.
put him on Seattle with those two receivers. Are you
Oh,
kidding me?
he's gonna do
They
good.
win,
Like that's what I'm
they win
saying.
12
Like,
games easily.
we can't keep throwing that elite word around. Like
No.
there's only like 3 quarterbacks in the league every season that are elite. You know what I mean?
And
John
no,
Watson
he
was
would
one
not.
of them.
They would not win 12 games because on that team they had a shit offensive coordinator who didn't know how to call plays for the
Yeah, let
talent
me
he
go grab
had.
my weed and cigarettes. real quick.
He does. I'm telling you, dude. You guys. Oh my gosh, Patrick Mahomes is not God, dude.
I'm not saying he is.
He's
But
a
I'm
top.
saying you have the Seattle receivers who could possibly be the best 2 of the top 10 in the NFL.
Yeah, and no offensive line to protect
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes.
But you
He
need an
would not
offensive
win
line for
scrambles
every
too.
quarterback to look good, really, except for Mike
He
Vick.
scrambles too, Seth. He doesn't just stand in the pocket every play. That's
No, you're
what part
right.
of
He
his
scrambles.
magic
You're
is
right. He
scrambling.
scrambles. Look what he did in the Super Bowl. You're right, Dad. He didn't score a fucking touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Okay, so what? He had a
Who?
bad game.
Yeah, because he's elite. He's the best quarterback we're ever going to see play
I
the
didn't
game.
say
He didn't even
that.
score one touchdown.
I
in
never
the Super
said that once. I
Not
think
one
Deshaun
touchdown.
Watson's better than him. So there
Yeah,
you
let's
go.
pay him $500 million.
Oh, that's your dad,
That's not
Seth?
me.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, bud? Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
Mario,
Go on, man.
But anyways, y'all just need to chill out on Patrick Mahomes. We'll see how many rings he
I
gets.
just
He
told
never,
you. I
he
think
Yeah,
never
yeah, it's kind of
Russell
early to
Wilson's
pull the
better, and I
trigger.
think-
on-
Second of all, he's gonna be lucky if he ever wins
But
2 more rings. If you
you
don't win
don't-
next year, you might not win whatever.
So he's not elite.
Seth.
Who's elite? How many elite quarterbacks are there then? 4?
Seth,
2?
I just said
I just
Russell
said.
Wilson.
I said
and
Russell
Deshaun
Wilson
Watson are
probably
better than
is.
Mahomes.
I said Russell Wilson probably is.
And Aaron
Aaron Rodgers. And I would say
Josh Allen's better than
Tom
Patrick Mahomes
Brady.
too. And Josh Allen. I really think Josh Allen
And
is too.
Josh Allen's pretty borderline. Like he's
He
pretty
could be.
borderline
Josh
elite.
Allen's probably better than him because if you factor in the running, Josh Allen can run, boy.
So
Just as good as
you
any
today
quarterback.
you're going into the playoffs tomorrow with your team, and you have the choice to either take Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, and you're taking
Ooh. Who am I taking of Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
yeah,
Ooh, that's a tough one, dude. That's a real
and
because
you
I
can
mean,
build the
Patrick
roster
Mahomes has
around each of them
experience
to
now.
whatever you want.
If I'm running the Seahawks, who am I taking?
Yeah,
I'm taking Josh Allen.
That's what I was going
Really?
to say, Dave. So we're
I
saying
think I would if I was the
Seahawks,
Seahawks
right?
just because to save the injuries. Because if he gets injured, you know what I mean? Like, there's a possibility of him going to Seattle, he get injured.
With that line and the way Patrick Mahomes is not a very good scrambler. We saw that in the Super Bowl. He's not.
that
I
is
mean,
hilarious.
Josh Allen's a big boy, dude. He's big like Cam Newton. Josh Allen can take.
Yeah, you'll see him lay the shoulder down.
Right.
Yeah, he's not scared to get hit, dude. I honestly, I'm just skills wise, I would take Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes. That's
Okay,
just
Seth, listen to me for a second. I am not saying Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback I've ever seen. I'm not even saying he's the best in the NFL right now. But he also had surgery on his toe right after the Super Bowl. That does factor in. I'm sorry.
okay. Well, guess
It's
what?
like factoring every year. Patrick Willis had surgery on his toe.
Right.
Motherfucker
Yeah,
was
it's what it
still
is.
deep.
That's football.
Guys.
Yeah, turf toes are not a joke.
No, that's what
it's a
I'm
real
saying.
injury.
So, yeah, I'm not saying he's the best. by
So,
any means.
so back to Seattle or San Francisco. What does San Francisco have to do to win this division next year? Do they have to replace Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah.
Does he
Well,
just
you could
have to stay
see-
healthy?
As you saw last year, we really almost won our division.
Yeah, I don't think you have to.
Like maybe not in record, but I mean, actually, like in division record.
Well, you had to
like,
have the record.
I know
I
that,
don't
but I'm
think-
saying like if you watched how like many games we had that were close, even when we played other opponents other than our division, like so we're not really far from right now. Think about the season Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf had, and fucking Tyler Lockett. Think about the season they had, and think about the 2 games they played the Niners with our fucking without George Kittle with Nick Mullins second string. They beat us by 3 points. Like, you know what I mean? We are a quarterback, and we are a quarterback and a cornerback away from being elite or like winning the division. We need a quarterback and a cornerback.
Well, we'll see.
I honestly think they could win the division with Garoppolo this year. I mean,
No, I don't, dude.
If he could stay healthy, I
That's what I'm
would say
saying.
yeah. If he could stay healthy, but it's just
He is-
he's just proven not.
Is Jimmy
Their
Garoppolo
defense
playing
is-
for the 49ers next year? Yes or no?
Nope. They're going to trade him back to the Patriots for Cam Newton, and Cam Newton's going to be the 49ers
Cam
starter.
Newton's not a free
I
agent.
do not want Cam.
Or
Newton.
Cam Newton's a free agent.
yeah.
I do not want fucking Cam Newton.
No, that would be awful. I don't think he's going to be a 49er next year. I think Garoppolo is gone. So
I think he's.
I think if they can get either Deshaun Watson or some other quarterback in a trade or draft one, I think that they can.
Dude, we need to get. Did we re-sign Kyle Juszczyk?
I don't believe so yet. They're offering though because
Dude.
the Jets want him because Salah.
If we
wants
don't
him.
fucking sign him, he's a big part of our running
Yeah,
game.
he's gonna go to the Jets.
He's the
because he
reason
wants to play with
why-
Salah, all gas, no brakes, baby. Let's go.
Hey,
He
how,
literally is the reason why our fifth string running backs to come in the game and rush for 125
Right.
yards because he's such a beast.
So transitioning from the 49ers, they have a bright future if the quarterback play gets better. Their rival, the Arizona Cardinals, started off hot, started losing game towards the middle and the end of the season. The offense was kind of getting figured out. They still have the DeAndre Hopkins. They're looking at getting J.J. Watt, reuniting those two. And it looks like if Kyler Murray can get another weapon or two, I feel like this offense can take the next step. My thing is this. If
Kyler Murray's
somehow
the problem.
Deshaun Watson gets traded to the Carolina Panthers, and the Carolina Panthers trade Christian McCaffrey to the Texans, I would, if I were the Texans, trade Christian McCaffrey. And the first place I would look to is the Arizona Cardinals because they would
Our
be
division's
highly,
so hard. God.
highly interested in a running back like that. That would make Kyler Murray so dominant because his
We all found
RPO.
out Kendrick Drake is trash. We all saw that last year.
And if you
I
give
think that
if
was
you
better.
give Kyler Murray a Christian McCaffrey at that goal line, it's going to be
Yeah.
disastrous for the other opposing defenses. So when I'm looking at Arizona going into next year, good position to fill would be running back. You don't want to overpay. You're going to have to for Aaron Jones. So you're either have to draft and hope that you get the best like Etienne or you get a different running back of that caliber, or you trade and try to hope that Deshaun Watson gets traded for Christian McCaffrey. Then you can look at the Houston Texans and say, look, you're already rebuilding. You don't need Christian McCaffrey. He's just going to die there. How about you trade him to us? And I think that would be hopeful for them, and they would take that next step. If they can get J.J. Watt and get another wide receiver, maybe I'm going to pass around this name to almost every team because I think he would fit on almost every single team, Allen Robinson. Then I think that team could take that next step. They just really need that running back because of the way that Kyler Murray plays. He's very mobile, and the way that mobile quarterbacks are successful is having a great running game, and the only way to have a great running game is to have good running back play. So they really need to replace and upgrade that position, or else I don't think Kyler Murray can take that next step because he's really dependent on that running game, and I feel like they need that running back to do that. So I think Arizona could be a good team going forward, playoff team even. But they really
I
need to
think-
replace that running back position. What do you guys think?
I think they can definitely be a playoff team. But I got a question for you, Mario. So if you don't think Watson's an elite quarterback, what do you think of Murray? Because he's definitely a couple notches below Watson to me.
I think Kyler Murray's trash.
Okay, that's just what I was wondering. I mean,
Oh
I-
yeah.
No.
I told that Dave last year before the season started. I was like, people were like Monty picked him up early in fantasy, and
Mhm.
I thought from what I saw last year, he looked so uncomfortable in the pocket, and he was
Absolutely.
just it was disastrous. Like that's why he's
Well-
getting these yards because he's running. And even this year, like how many throws did we see that were like 5-10 yards away from the receiver?
Oh yeah, and I mean,
Like,
look
you know what I mean? Like over the top, over the
Yeah.
head, fucking
And-
over here. There were so many games he looked real bad.
and
And
he
it-
has the best receiver
Well-
in football.
yeah, and
Um,
like all you got to do is throw the ball to fucking Hobson. He's
Right.
proven that he'll catch it in any fucking
Yeah.
angle, any direction, no
Oh,
matter
yeah.
if it's right by the out of bounds line or not. Like,
Right.
Kyler Murray was lighting the league on fire last year, the first half. Then he got hurt, and he was hurt The second
Yeah,
power.
but I think mainly, like I said, fucking DeAndre
Now,
helped him out, made him look like if he didn't have
Well,
DeAndre, he would have looked like shit this season. Like that's what I'm saying.
He's still young, and I think he's definitely going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think he could improve on some of his throws. You're totally right about that, but he's young, so you got to give him time.
No,
But
I think he has the potential for sure. I mean,
Oh yeah. He's definitely got potential.
I think he's going to be better than Lamar Jackson. That's my
oh,
feeling.
for sure. I do too. I mean,
think he is. I definitely need help at the running back position, though, Dave. You're right. Like if they would get McCaffrey, that would be huge for them, dude.
That would be life changing.
Oh,
I mean, obviously because it's Christian McCaffrey, but for that particular
not even
person and
RPO.
player, it would be crazy.
well, think about it. How many teams in the NFL would Christian McCaffrey change their outlook? I mean, almost anybody.
Yeah, but this one in particular with Cliff Kingsbury, the way that they run their it fits their system amazing.
Absolutely, 100%, Dave. I agree.
So the Arizona Cardinals, they have to fix a couple positions or they're going to lose a lot of other positions and they're going to be right back into rebuild mode. Go all out again. You went and got the wide receiver last year. Now go and get the running back. If Carolina does not get Deshaun Watson, try to offer Carolina everything you can for Christian McCaffrey. Just do it. You really need him.
I think that their defense needs to improve a little bit as well. The Cardinals. I think Patrick Peterson's done. He showed that last year. He's not.
They were saying that we might pick him up.
He's not the same guy he used to be. They need to get a little help on that defense.
I heard Peterson and Sherman are going to the Jets. I don't know. It's just what I'm hearing. I don't know what I'm hearing. But
the Jets really did get good this year just because they picked up
everybody's going to the
staff.
Hey, come on now. Woody Johnson's back. He makes splashes. He doesn't go around and not spend. He spends all the money.
The only reason Dave says that is because when they do get somebody, he can be like, yeah, see, I said he was going to the Jets. I'm like, dude, you said everybody was going to the damn Jets.
Well, you got to be hopeful. You got to have some, optimism in this.
Hey, Dave, real quick. I got to give you credit, bro. I mean, I've been a Cub fan my whole life. I've stuck by the Cubs. You stick by your Jets. I like that, man.
We were close a couple times. That's what gives me hope. I got the taste of 2 AFC championships, and we were really close on getting to the Super Bowl.
Dude, add like another 50 years, and then you'd be a Cub fan, Dave.
Yeah,
100,
basically. Yeah. So going from Arizona to LA to the Rams, making that blockbuster trade, getting rid of Jared Goff, getting Matt Stafford, major upgrade in my opinion, especially for that type of offense. The guy's got the arm. He has mega weapons now. It's going to look totally different in LA with Matt Stafford. I don't think he's just going to be building up all these numbers. I think he has a potential to go back over 5,000 yards. I think that Sean McVay can make it happen. I think that team's ready to dominate once again. I'm predicting this team to win the division next year. As it stands today, a lot can change in free agency. A lot can change in the draft. A lot can change with injuries during camp and OTAs. People always end up getting injured out for the season. You usually have about one tragic injury to a star player per division every single year when it comes to camps and OTAs. Maybe we see 2 because we didn't have the OTAs and mini camps last year. Now a lot of players are going to be getting back into the swing of things. Maybe they pull something because they're not used to it or they're not ready. The rookies last year didn't have that. Maybe they're going to be not used to something different this year. You might see some rookies pulling some hamstrings or pulling some ACLs this year. I think the way that the Rams look right now, they're dangerous. They're a top 5 team in the NFL based on the weapons that they have today and the schemes that they're running and the way that they're playing against the team that they have. They won a playoff game. No one gave them a chance. They actually made the playoffs. Now
Wait a minute.
They won a playoff game.
Stop. I gave them a chance because I told you guys they didn't want the freaking Seahawks to play them in the first round because I told you they'd match up with us great. Look, everything you said, I totally agree with. Matt Stafford, huge upgrade from Jared Goff. Matt Stafford showed on a shit team, in my eyes, the worst organization in the NFL, the Detroit Lions, that he can produce. I will say this. I don't know. Stafford needs to go in there and not try to win the season right away. He needs to go in there and learn the offense, take his time. He needs to go in there and not try to put it all on his shoulders because a lot of people are saying, that's what they were a quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl. And you're right, Dave. They were. That defense is elite. Jalen Ramsey, in my eyes, the only shutdown corner we have in the NFL right now. I mean, he's the guy's a monster, dude. Look what he did to DK Metcalf last year. I mean, he just shut him down. When that guy's playing, you might as well just not even like whoever he's gone. You might as well just take the play off or just try to hit him and block him because you're not getting the ball. He's not going to let it happen. They have Aaron Donald, probably even a better defensive player on that team. And you're right, they have a great coach, and I think McVay is going to be so happy because ever since that Super Bowl, he has not wanted Jared Goff to be the quarterback. He has not liked the fact that Jared Goff is quarterback. Did you see his face last year in the game against the Seahawks, dude? He was so, like, just pissed at how Goff was playing. He did not like him. Like, this is going to rejuvenate him. It's going to rejuvenate that defense. It's going to rejuvenate everybody in Los Angeles. It will be a dangerous team next year. I just think Stafford can't try to do too much at first. He's got to go in there and, learn it, take his role, listen to his coaches, learn the offense, and I think they're going to be good and right there in the thick of things for the NFC, barring any big injuries, like Dave said.
Is the best team in the NFC West at this time today?
Yeah,
I agree.
Most complete team for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, Stafford's going to really show what he can do in the NFL this year. I mean, he's shown it with Detroit, but this year he's really going to put some numbers up.
He's gaining talent, actually. And he had two great wide receivers in Galladay and Marvin Jones.
Well, he's got two very good receivers with the Rams, so he's all set. I mean, he's got
and not even this. And he's got Woods. The biggest thing he has now that he's never had is a run game, fellas. That Cam Akers came on very, very strong last year, which at the beginning of the year, if you looked at a lot of fantasy draft boards, he was the highest ranked running back on the Rams as far as fantasy, like who you should draft. And the first month and a half of the season, he hardly touched the ball. But if you go back and look at his numbers the last month of the season and in the playoffs, like against the Seahawks, he had over 100 total yards. He was catching the ball. He was running hard. He was running good through the holes, hitting the holes good, like, a running back should. He came on really strong. Matt Stafford's never, ever, ever in his life had a running game, which means no play action because the defense, they know you're not handing the ball off to these scrubs. This guy hasn't run for 100 yards in 3 years. You're not handing him the ball. You're going to throw the ball. Well, now he might hand that ball off. And McVay can run that play action game. I just think it's going to be nasty, man. It's going to be dangerous. I'm telling you, that team scares the shit out of me next year.
Yeah, they're going to be tough. And one thing I liked last year that I saw from their defense was Floyd had a great year from them.
Dude, he owned Russell Wilson. Now, he sacked him like 6 times or 7 times in the 3 games they played, dude.
Yeah, he actually showed what the Bears drafted him for. He had a great year last year for them. So it wasn't just Donald, it wasn't just Ramsey. Their whole defense in general shuts you down.
Yeah, but man, Aaron Donald. I still say Aaron Donald.
He changes the game.
You have to double team him.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, that guy's just a beast, dude.
Yeah, that division can really get powerful if they end up getting another star quarterback for the 49ers. And if the Cardinals can get a star running back, that division could go down as one of the greatest divisions ever in NFL history based on the way that all of them are playing and adding this great talent to that division. It's something that you're going to look at for years to come. Like, remember when they had Aaron Donald, Christian McCaffrey, they had freaking, Kyler Murray was balling out that year. Matt Stafford threw for 5,000 yards, and you had Russell Wilson trying to go to the Super Bowl that year. And, it's one of those years that in that division, it's going to be not fair because all 4 of those teams could be playoff eligible. And either they're all going to get the spots with the 3 wild card spots in the division winner, or the NFC is going to be that good where it's just going to be so deep at the top that it's just something.
There could be a 10-win team that doesn't get in the playoffs.
Well, that happens a lot. There could be 11-win teams.
Well, they're definitely the best division of football by far.
And it could even get more powerful with how free agency and the draft plays out.
Yeah, we got to wait and see where Deshaun Watson lands and a couple other things.
Right. So transferring from Los Angeles to the final team of the night, Seattle Seahawks. We talked about them earlier with the Russell Wilson situation. We don't have to spend too much time on this team, even when we talked about them a little bit. But we'll recap a little bit. Russell Wilson wants out as of now. The 4 teams that he wants to be traded to are the Dallas Cowboys, the New Orleans Saints. He also wants to go maybe the Chicago Bears and the Las Vegas Raiders. That was not in the order of the teams that he wants to go to. That was just the order of the team or the list of the teams that was given to everyone in the public. When I look at these 4 teams,
by Russell Wilson's agent to Adam Schefter. So it's not this isn't speculation. This is Russell Wilson's agent telling the public, the media, these teams. So this should not be taken lightly.
Here's what's funny is, I don't want traded, but if I do get traded, here's where I want to go.
Yeah.
Well,
Why would you even say that?
Because you know how it is. They're just beating around the bush because they know what they want. And when
Right.
I'm looking at this team, they're trending down just because their players are getting older every year. They're not changing up their offensive schemes. Now with the new offensive coordinator, we're going to find out how different that offensive looks next year because Russell Wilson's claiming he's not getting that input into that offense. Maybe he won't be happy. Maybe it won't look too much different. They want to run the ball even more now. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. And like I said earlier in this show, that I think Russell Wilson going to be traded within a week or 10 days. And I mean, that it's a possibility because it seems like it's picking up steam every other day. There's more news that's coming out of the Russell Wilson camp. And that could lead to Pete Carroll going over to, who is it, John Schneider. And he could be like, hey, we got to look at opportunities and we got to look at these rookie quarterbacks just in case we send them to New York for that number 2 pick or to Miami for that number 3 pick. Because as of right now, Seattle is still a good football team. But are they Super Bowl ready today? Probably not. They got to re-sign Chris Carson, help rebuild that offensive line, add more pieces to that defense.
Help on that line.
And with Matt Stafford going to the Rams, and with the potential of Arizona adding more weapons to their team to help build their stature, and the 49ers being one quarterback away, they could be on the outside looking in next year with the best quarterback. So
I think they're the weakest team in that division.
as of
actually.
now, as of today,
Arizona still. Slow down, Dad. Slow the hell down.
49ers are still as of today, but they
Now,
have.
I'll say that I think San Francisco is better than them, and I also think that the Rams are better than them. But you can't. I'm not. Come on, now Arizona's not better than them yet. They ain't showing me shit. You got to show me something. Win some game. Get in the playoffs. Come on, dude. Slow down.
Yeah, well, like I said, you have offensive line troubles and your defense. I know they played good the second half of the year, but in the first half, they couldn't stop my grandma from scoring a touchdown.
They gave up 13.5 points like the last 7 weeks of the season.
That's what I
great.
said.
That's
I said
good.
the last half. The first
Right.
half, they couldn't stop my grandma from scoring a touchdown.
Right, yeah, and our biggest free agent signing didn't play for like 6 of those weeks either. Remember that. Slow down a little bit, dude. And we didn't have Dunlap either. Like I said, our defense was just fine.
We'll see.
Yeah, so the NFC West in general is going to be stout, and it's going to be fun to watch next year. All the division games are primetime worthy. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if almost all of their primetime games or all of their division games are in primetime. I'd watch them.
Different though. We'll see.
Yeah, so
Hey, real quick, Dave, I've been hearing rumors that Watt's going to get $15 to $16 million a year. Would you pay that if you're the Jets?
no.
I would not either as a Bear fan. No way.
Nope. I have no interest in that.
I can't believe that he's going to get that big of a contract.
I don't think so either. I think if he wants to win a ring, he's going to get paid league minimum.
I mean, and like you said, the endorsements, if he went to a big city like Chicago, I mean, come on.
I've been hearing a lot about the Bucks wanting to go after OBJ.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why though, dude. Like, why do you? It's just whatever.
Right.
Let's
Yeah,
add another
so
Pro Bowler.
yeah, as we wrap this up, it's this division and the AFC West are both like teams that are divisions that are really interesting, and a lot more can happen to even make them both even more powerful. You got the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Rams, you have the Seahawks, the 49ers. All of these teams are not far away from being the best team in the NFL. They only have to make a couple tweaks here and there, and they could be one of the best, if not the best teams in the NFL. And that's how powerful these divisions are. So when you look at the West, both of them are not to be reckoned with because they both have powerhouses teams. They have young quarterbacks up and coming. They have great defenses throughout, and they have amazing wide receivers and offensive play coming from tight ends. All three tight ends, all the top 3 tight ends with no tight ends even remotely close to those 3, all are in the West divisions. So when you look at the West, it's a brutal division on each side of the conference to play against because they have talent all throughout there, left and right. We have never seen one side of the country hold so much power and talent in a long time, and it's crazy. And the AFC South and NFC South at one time held that and the NFC East and AFC East once held that, but not nearly to this stature. You know, it's crazy to see these teams and how good they are, and really how good they can be even further going this off season. We'll see how they play out, and I think it's going to be fun to watch. I always say this every single year, and everyone says it. It's going to be the best off season, but really, truly, this off season with the cap being lower and these teams, the way that they're looking, truly is going to be one of the greatest off seasons I've ever seen, and I'm all here for it. So next week, I believe we are talking about the South episodes. We're talking about the AFC South and the NFC South. And hopefully by then, there's more news like a Carson Wentz trade, you know, or a Jared Goff trade with the Stafford trade, or Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson gets traded. Because every episode, we've had a lot of news packed into just a little over an hour. And I'm trying to even get this down to an hour so we can get even more information in a little bit less time. And we're working on that, and it's going to get better. And thank you for listening tonight. I am your host with the most, and we are joined in with Seth, Rick, his father.
If you guys want to talk about this Patrick Mahomes discussion, add me on Twitter, SethReed620. We'll talk about it.
And Mario joined in for a little bit. I don't know if he's still in there or not.
Yeah, I'm still in here.
So thanks for joining tonight. I know it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun talking football with you guys like we do every single night. We'll see how this goes. We are up to 30 subscribers on YouTube. If you could please subscribe, tell your friends, share, get it up to. Our next goal is 50. We are going to do a giveaway. Once we get to 50, I will give away a Dave Cat podcast mask. If we can get to 50 subscribers by next Friday. If we can get to 50 subscribers by next Friday, I will give away a Dave Cat mask to one random follower on either Facebook or YouTube. You know, we'll just go YouTube. YouTube only. YouTube only. If you subscribe, you will be entered in a chance to get a Dave Cat podcast mask.
Folks, did you hear that? You should be smashing your subscribe button right now.
Smash it!
Like, you have no idea how exclusive a Dave Cat podcast Corona mask is.
Corona
Smash that
virus
subscribe
mask.
button. Let's go, people.
I'm telling you, with the filters. So get that subscribe going, and we will get that.
I want one of those, man. I'm already subscribed though, so I guess I can't get one. I guess I'm on the show.
So I mean, hey, who knows? I might make a big order from, Etsy and get a bunch of masks in there. But get us to 50 by next Friday, and we'll get a mask away, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes. We just need to
tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a cousin, man.
So we'll see how it is. Once again, thank you all for joining and listening and downloading on all the platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and anywhere, and I mean anywhere that you get your podcasts, even Audible and CastBox. Go ahead and give us a look up and give us a download, and we'll be looking at you next time. Thanks for joining.
Folks.